Good morning. We're so glad you're here, and welcome to everyone streaming online. It's a beautiful September day. I'd like to acknowledge Rich Smith, who's standing in for Rick today. Yes, he's wonderful to do so. We're so glad he's here. And why don't we just get started right away? We've got some new music this month. First thing is Seed to Sow. Quietly reveal in the manner of the meek. Some people shout the way they feel to a radical degree. Sometimes it's me. Let me tell you about one thing I know. Everybody's got a seed to sow. Let your heart of hearts take you down.
So get out there and sow those seeds. Good morning and welcome to everybody, whether you're right here in the building with us, joining us virtually as part of our Love Streaming community, or checking in with us later because you're off doing something really fun and wonderful for this Labor Day weekend. We're so very glad, whatever way it is, to share this time with you. My name is Linda Brewer. I'm so blessed to be your service host this morning. And the rest of the team serving are our practitioners, Selena Baugh, who will be doing a reading and leading us in prayer, and Katie Hernandez, who is holding high watch in the back of the room, knowing that as we share this sacred time together, that everyone here is being blessed in this time. So we're so very grateful. Our center is a spiritual community that teaches a philosophy for daily living based on spiritual principles and practices that are universal among religions. We honor every pathway by which people seek to know and connect with the divine. and we work on our individual consciousness so that we can help make the world a better place. So this month we're returning to saying together our purpose statement on Sunday mornings. So please join me in saying it. And as you say it, please think about how you can embody being this. We are an open, welcoming community celebrating our divinity, loving our humanity, and nurturing our journeys of spiritual discovery. Thank you so very much. So our theme of Living Everyday Wonder shifts this month. The focus last month was on nature, and this month the focus is going to be on work, which is so appropriate this Labor Day weekend. And who better to start us off than our own dear Rev Myrna Hirst. Next week, after sparing you all from this all year, I will be your speaker. Sorry.
Admit it, you missed.
I have missed you, Rich. And you were worried. Please, everyone, remember that we are still looking for a new spiritual home, a place for us to do this on Sundays and during the rest of the week, and we need everyone to be part of that search. So please keep your eye out as you roam through the valley, and if you see anything that you think would work for us, send an email to the office assistant email on the website, and somebody will look into it, and we appreciate your help with that. With all that is on our horizon, and there is a lot coming up, it's really important that everyone stay up to date, which you can do by checking in at the activities table out there on Sunday mornings, signing up for our weekly email, or visiting our website 24/7, www.spirituallyfree.org. If you want to reach us during the week, that's a great way to do that through the website, and you can also submit a prayer request there. We have a wonderful new weekly Wednesday service happening throughout the month of September. Starting this Wednesday night from 6:30 to 8:30, our own Shanti Kiefer and various guest musicians will be doing a sound bath meditation right here in the sanctuary. This is an incredible way to refresh your body, mind, and spirit with healing sounds and meditation. You will be blessed by the soothing music of a variety of instruments such as the Native American flute, crystal pyramid, rain stick, Tibetan singing bowls, crystal sound bowls, and a whole bunch of other things that I never even heard of. So to make a reservation for that, to get tickets, or just to find out more information, you can do that on our website or at the table in the lobby afterwards. And I think Shanti's going to be out there, so if you have questions about it, she will be out there after the service and you can talk to her. 2 weeks from today, September 18th, Reverend James Peak, who is the Spiritual Education Program Manager for our National Centers for Spiritual Living, is going to be here with us as our guest speaker, and he's going to do an afternoon workshop on one of the primary teachings of our philosophy, and that is oneness. After the service, we'll have a community lunch, and then the workshop will start at 1 o'clock. And I just want to encourage everyone to be part of this. I feel like our world is so fragmented and divided, and that the principle of oneness is something that we can all be well served to be reminded of each week, so that we can do what we say up here, which is to work on our individual consciousness so that we can help make the world a better place. If you are willing to help with that event, set up, clean up, that kind of thing, please see our events coordinator, who also happens to be Shanti Kiefer, and she'll be back there at the table too, and there's a sign-up sheet to be on the events team. So do we have anyone visiting us for the first time today? And if so, are you brave enough to raise your hand so that we can welcome you? Yes, we do. All right. Thank you so much for being here. We're so very glad that you're here with us, and we affirm for you and everyone else here that you'll experience a blessing here this morning. So thank you for showing up on a holiday weekend yet with us. That's just great. So great. All right. In case you missed the news last week, please save the dates, October 15th and 16th, as we welcome for a candidating weekend Reverend Cindy Edelson, who has been led to apply to be our new senior minister. We are incredibly excited about this. She will meet with various leadership groups on Friday night and Saturday morning, and then Saturday afternoon we invite everyone to come for a very low-key social event where you can mingle and have an opportunity to talk one-on-one with her, and then plan to spend the day with us on Sunday. She will be our Sunday speaker, and then she will do a workshop, and then we will do a question and answer session with Reverend Cindy after that, and then we will give her a break and let her go have dinner with her cousin who lives here in Salt Lake. So please put that on your calendar, October 15th in the afternoon and October 16th during the day, because it's very important for all of us to have feedback from you about how you experience her. So thank you so much. And as I do always, I remind you our center was founded on and it is grounded in prayer. Thanks in part to our professional prayer practitioners who spend a lot of years getting trained in the art and science of affirmative prayers so that they can know the best and highest for you during anything that's going on in your life. So if you would like to have prayer with a practitioner, you can grab one wearing a stole after the service, put a prayer request in the lobby prayer box, or put one in online. And if you do that, all the practitioners will be in prayer this week, knowing the best and highest for you. And this is the prayer time of our service, so I invite you to settle in. Allow Selena's reading and the sacred music to connect you with the God that lives within you, and then Selena will lead us in prayer.
Our reading this morning comes from a great book called A Year Without Fear, and it's written by Tama Keeves. It's a daily reading, and I'm reading from January 5th. When you do what you came here to do, it makes you stronger. When you do not do what you came here to do, it makes you weaker. Sometimes in a weak place, you feel you have no energy, ability, or self-confidence to act. You may feel just a bit more like a jellyfish with a tide going the wrong way than, say, the tiger you'd hope you would be. But you're wrong. When you move toward your light, your feet find solid ground. It's not you who empowers your gifts. Your gifts empower you. It's not you who empowers your gifts. It's your gifts that empower you. And the affirmation: today I take any small step toward doing or discovering what I came here to do.
to love, serve and remember, to love, serve and remember. Why have we come to earth? Do you remember? Why have we taken birth? Why have we come to love, serve and remember, to love, serve and remember, to love, serve and remember, to love, serve and remember.
From this quiet place, I open my heart and mind to that one presence and power, moving in and through all of life, everywhere present, this moment and always has been and always will be. Expressing its divine right action, absolute love, intelligence, strength, and joy. In recognizing these truths of the divine, I know that I am part and parcel of that one. And I know that same truth for each and every one of you. We are whole in that one, with all the strength, love, intelligence, joy of the universe, fully embodied within each of us. And as we open to that truth, our minds and our hearts fully awake and conscious, we are recognizing that next step. We recognize why we are here and what is ours to do. And we can do so with grace, love, and much joy. So I invite you this week to just open your mind and heart. What is our work? Not our job. But what are we here to do this day? And take one small step toward that knowing. Allow Spirit to guide you and move you, and all things will be provided. I'm grateful for this time together this morning. I'm grateful for this philosophy and this beautiful music and the message to follow. But most of all, the community of people in this room and joining us via the live stream, where we know these truths to be true. So I just release this word. It's spoken, therefore it's done. As together we say, and so it is.
I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth. All that I am and all that I do is a blessing. kill me. I have the honor of introducing our special music today, and who could you guess it is? Rich Smith. Woohoo! Rich Smith was born and raised in West Valley City, Utah. He is silly, eccentric, talented, and very smart.
Oh, who wrote that?
I was going to ask you. He studied music at the
He is not smart. Parts of him are smart.
He's partly smart. He studied music at University of Utah and Boston University. Rich is an accomplished pianist, composer, teacher, conductor, producer, and sound engineer, sharing these gifts across the country throughout his career. He was on Bette Midler's production team in California in the 1980s. He taught music at every education level, public and private. He composed many commissioned songs and choral pieces, managed his own choir and orchestra, spent time as a touring musician, was director for musical productions, and currently serves as president of music production for Epilogue Records, a subsidiary of Capitol Records, which is devoted to the promotion of young, exceptional musical artists. Whew, wow. Above all, Rich loves to teach, especially music. Please help me welcome Rich Smith.
Oh, man. Oh, okay, so now we got to go find that guy and get him to come here. Man, I can't live up to that. It is such a joy to be back. It's been about 10 years since I was here last. For those of you who remember those dark days of church in a box, yeah, and the grand move over to Bugatti, which was something, and now we're here. But it is such a joy to be back. When Rick asked me to play, he didn't tell me that the theme this month was work. So I've been working, and people have asked me if I'm really happy about my move back to Utah, because I just made it back on a more permanent basis in July. The first part of July, I made it back here for a more permanent move, and people have asked me, am I happy to be back? And I have to say, I'm honestly not happy, because I had the best life in the world. I lived in rural Vermont. I had a bear as my next door neighbor. He lived up at the hill behind me. And I worked out of New York City, so I worked out of Manhattan. Right in the heart of Broadway. My studio space was just next door to the Richard Rodgers Theater, which is where Wicked has been playing for the past few years, and it's just been such a joy working with some of the students that I've worked with, seeing their success, working with them, getting them prepared for Broadway roles. I have really had a blessed life. It was not what I anticipated it was going to be when I left here. I thought I was just going to go back and teach high school at a private school, and I wound up teaching at a university and an institution which trained Broadway music performers, and it just turned into this grand adventure that I didn't see coming, and it was just so exciting and so vibrant. But life has called me back to Utah, so I have to say I'm not really happy to be back, but I'm content, because I get to be here with you, and that makes me happy. So I found out last week that the theme was work, and it's like, okay, work. So I could flip out a Broadway tune, popular, I'm gonna be popular, and do a Broadway show tune. But I thought, no, that's a little cheesy, right, for me? So instead, it's like, I got to thinking about it, and I've thought a lot about this the past couple of weeks since Rick asked me if I would play. And it's like, well, if I'm going to talk about work and my job, and it really is one of those, I honestly have to say, I have not worked a day of my life the past 10 years, because I so loved what I did. I so loved the students I had. I loved the productions I worked on. I loved everything about it. So I kind of like, all right, well, I have to do something Broadway-esque. I have to do Broadway. So I decided to do kind of my own little take on my farewell to Times Square. So if you'll join me for just a minute, we're going to take a walk down Broadway.
Wow. We're so glad, whether you are or not, that you're back in Utah. It is so incredibly appropriate to have Reverend Myrna starting off a month where the focus of our wonder is work. Because in the 20 years I've known Myrna, she has always been hard at work, serving others, especially in this center, and that's long before she became a minister. She's served in leadership, she's been a practitioner, taught classes, been a church administrator, currently the chair of our visioning team, and she's always looking for yet another new creative way for her to serve. But she does it all with such love and grace that she never looks like she's rushed or overwhelmed or working. So she makes it all look easy, and she is such a blessing to our community and in my life. I'm honored to be the one to introduce my dear friend, Reverend Myrna Hirst.
Those were all very nice words. Thank you. Like Rich said, who wrote that anyway? It's so good to be here today, isn't it? Either here sitting in this room or, hi, you guys that are not here in this room. We love you too. And then there's always the people up at Big Sky, because I think about half of our congregation is in Montana today. But I know that you're not doing the Montana thing right now. You're watching us on TV or on the screen or whatever it is you're doing. So I'm glad everybody's here. This is a good day. It's interesting to me how everything kind of comes together. I mean, the music today was about what? It was about creating a life that you want. I'm remembering who I am. I'm the heart and the hands and the voice of spirit on earth. Good stuff. And then there's this man. I mean, Rich, thank you. He reminds me, and I hope that he reminded you, that it's only work if it's not fun. Does that make sense? It does to me. It's work if it, first of all, work is not a bad word, but sometimes we make it thus. But you know what? It really isn't work if it's fun. And it ought to be fun, because that's why we're here. So this week we're going to talk about wonderful work. Next week they're going to talk about creating a life that matters. So see, this is not about your job. This is about your work, and it's not the same thing. In week 3, we'll talk about living the dream, once we've figured out what work is and isn't. And then in the last week, we're going to keep moving forward always. So it's all about using work as life and life as work, and it's a good thing. It says in the stuff that we talked about today that work is perhaps the most, and they're talking about now the Labor Day kind of work, the stuff that you get dressed up in the morning and go to, or at least you used to, the thing that gives you a paycheck or, whatever. Work is perhaps the most significant block of time allocated in the living of our lives, and that's true. Be it a task or a call, we give more of ourselves to work than any other aspect of life. Think about that. Think about that. It's definitely true. So, what is work? Anybody got a thought? Is it labor? Is it what gives you a paycheck? Is it what you give up when you retire? Is it negative? Is work a negative word or a positive word? Is work hard? Or can it be easy? Or can it be wonderful? Is it how you get your money? Is it who you become? Because for some of us it does. I kind of like the word occupation better than the word work, because it implies that there could be more to it than just picking up a paycheck. And we're going to talk about that a lot, about what is it And is it fun or is it not? I think my favorite word when I talk about work or occupation is adventure. Because I think that's what life ought to be, a grand adventure, every minute of it. So, I got a story for you. At the beginning of the school year, a reporter for the local paper was writing an article on school bus drivers and their jobs. So at the end of the day, the school day, he stopped by the bus barn at the school and found 3 bus drivers, each of whom had had a very different take on their job. The first driver was obviously very tired. And when asked about his job, he said, "This is a terrible job. The kids are always out of control, they don't pay me enough money, and I hate driving. I don't know why I'm even doing this, but I couldn't find any other job. I'm looking around for another job, but I haven't been able to find one. I feel trapped in this job. I feel like I'm just in prison." Okay. Second driver had a happier face, so the reporter asked him how his day had gone and whether he liked driving the bus. The driver said, "Sure, this job isn't perfect, but it's a pretty good job. I need to get to work pretty early in the morning, but I'm usually home soon enough to be there for my kids when they come home from school. I like driving, and I think I'm pretty good at it, and it certainly pays the bills." The third driver was saying goodbye to the last of the kids on the bus. The reporter walked up and asked the question, to which the bus driver said, "I really love this job. The kids are my friends, and sometimes we even sing songs on the way home. I think I am making a pretty positive impression on these young people, and that pretty much is my life's purpose." Same job, 3 different perspectives. And we're going to talk about those today. The first one, the idea that it's a hard job and that it's terrible and I'm imprisoned by it, sounds a lot like, we're talking about that. In this story, the attitude for the first guy says, "I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I don't like to drive." Why is he doing this job if he doesn't like to drive? You ever thought about that? Has anybody here ever had a job that they did because they had to? Do you do things in your life because you have to? When I was a kid, I used to hate Brussels sprouts, but I always had to eat them because my mother said I had to. And I had to clean my plate because the children in Europe were starving. I volunteered to send my leftovers to Europe, and I got slapped for that. It's a matter of feeling trapped by life if you're in a place where you're not doing what you want to do. You feel victimized by life. Life shows up in 3 ways for many, many people. It shows up as if the world is doing this to me. Everything about my life is somebody else's fault. And sometimes it's pretty easy, isn't it, to let somebody else be to blame for the things that are wrong in your life. That way you don't have to feel responsible. It's kind of easy and not very happy, but it is imprisoning. It certainly is not. It's being trapped. It certainly is not being free. So if it's hard work and you have to do it, and you go through life believing that that's true, you're really wasting a lot of life, guys. Truly, that's true. An easier way to do it, the second guy, he had a better idea. He paid the rent. He was able to buy groceries for his family. And his idea about his job was that it served his purpose. In metaphysics, we call that the beginning of understanding how the world really works when you look at it positively. We start out with, when I found this philosophy a while back, and the first thing that I realized was that I could do some things myself, not just physically, by doing my job and having a good time doing it. But also, if I put my mind to it, I could find better parking places. And that's how I started out in this. Did you? We start by learning that we are responsible for our lives and we can create the lives we want. That's the whole idea. So in the process of learning to create the life that I wanted, I started easy. I started by looking for good parking places and money on the ground. When that started to show up, it got a little bit easier to think that maybe I could have an effect on my life in that way. Then I started thinking about other things. Maybe there are good men in the world. I was single at the time, and I'd been single for a long time because all men were pigs. And as long as I believed that, guess who I met? Pigs. And then I decided to change my mind about that and see if that was something that I could begin to believe, that there were good men in the world. And guess who I found? I found my husband. My third and fourth husband, as a matter of fact. But that's a different story. I learned to think that I was responsible for finding a better personal life than I'd had. And I was doing that using the principles of the science of mind. You can be responsible for your life. Well, you are responsible for your life. You're responsible for it back in the days when you were victimized, because you can have a choice about that. And if you take that choice, life gets easier and work gets easier. Okay, so pretty current story. We are in the process of moving back to Salt Lake from Layton. We've lived in Layton for 7 years. And I'm not a very deeply rooted person. I like moving around. And somehow or other, just about every 10 years, thank you, Theryl, for understanding and going with me, I move. And I've moved to a lot of places, and every places I've moved, I've kind of enjoyed being there, but sometimes I forget how many places I've lived because it happens. Anyway, a long story short, we were kind of happy up there. It was working pretty well for us. And then the apartment complex that we lived in raised the rent a lot. And my first response was to get really angry because they'd done it to me. It's their fault. Now, there it is. See, I go back to that victim place just like everybody else does from time to time. It was really easy to be angry, but it wasn't feeding me. It wasn't serving me. So starting in May, we started looking around for whatever the next experience was going to be, and it took us a while because the housing environment right now is really crazy. Everybody had raised their rent $300 or $400 a month, and I'm not willing to pay that extra. So we didn't know what we were really going to do. We looked and we looked. And one of the things that we did as we were looking is I went through the book because we kind of thought we wanted to move back to Salt Lake. I looked through the listing of apartments that were available, and I found this place that we had lived before that I liked. So I called the lady that answers the phone. At the 7 years we'd been gone from that place. So I called the lady, and she remembered me. Now, where we were now, everything was really, where we were before, was really impersonal. I'd have to tell them my name and my apartment number every time I called because they didn't know who I was. This lady remembered me. And not only that, she had a waiting list for an apartment that I could afford. The waiting list was 8 months old, 8 months long, she estimated. So we kind of, kept looking and kept looking. And then I called her back one day and said if we kind of jumped up the list at all. And she said, sometimes we make an exception. And we got this apartment. And we're moving in right now. That's what happens when you start doing this work. Once you recognize and work at making things the way you want them to be, and know that that's going to happen, it shows up. Thoughts become things. So in this second phase of work, the work about doing things by me, I can have whatever I want because I can do it myself. That's a good place to be. It feels free. And what I've got to tell you is there's kind of a choice point. It's not linear. Because in the process of learning that they'd raised the rent, I got really angry and I was back in step one, big time. I stayed there for several days and man, it was rewarding to be angry at people. It just really felt terrible. So you can move back and forth, is what I'm saying. You're not always going to be perfect. Did you know that? Yeah, you probably did. So where do we go from there? Well, phase 3 is what Michael Beckwith called as me. I can live life. I can express this spiritual part of me. I can grow as me, and I can become a part of God. And that way, that spirit moves through me, without my even being conscious of it. You call it, I can do more. And as me, when we do as me, that's when the purpose shows up, when the adventure shows up, when I no longer have to think about doing things that haven't come out right. They automatically do. Not just for me, but I can work as me into the world, using that spirit that comes through me to help other people. That's when the adventure starts. That's when work gets to be really marvelous. That's wonderful work. When we're doing whatever shows up for us in life, and it turns out to be wonderful for people, and it turns out to be wonderful for me because I'm helping people. Linda says that I always make it look easy. Well, guess what? It is. Because I only ever do what I want. I never do anything. I never do anything that I want to do. How that works, another little story. I hate doing dishes. I hate doing dishes. But I love having a clean kitchen. So when the dishes need to be washed, I'm not sitting there saying, I hate washing dishes. I think to myself, I'm making my kitchen clean. It's all a matter of perspective, folks. I can do more to help other people by not really trying to help other people, but just by being the best me I know how to do. Again, it's a choice. Everything about life is a choice. And I choose to make life an adventure, and I choose to make my work fun, and I have always done that. So can you do that? Of course. Everybody does that, and it doesn't matter what your job is. Last Thursday, I was at Walmart buying some stuff that we needed for our new apartment, and you know, you go to Walmart and you check, and you're in that personal checkout place where you put your own stuff on the, and you do it yourself. There was a lady there whose job it was just to make sure that people were, you know, she worked there, and I think that I've known people who didn't think that was a very nice job, and she made my day. Because as I was, you know, getting my stuff out and doing what I did, she came up to me and said, "How are you doing today?" I said, "I'm just fine. How about you?" She says, "Oh, I'm great. It's been a fun day for me." I said, "It's really hot outside." She said, "I know. Isn't that great? Don't you just love summertime?" And so I was just working along. And finally, she came back over as I was getting through, and she said, and I said, "Thank you. You really made my day for me. I appreciate that." And she said, "I think that's my job. I think that my job in this little place is to help people be as happy as they can be." And somebody else at one of the other check stands said, "Me too." And all of a sudden, the whole day got brighter because this lady was on purpose doing what she wanted to do, helping people, because she felt like that was her life's purpose. That's how life ought to work, don't you think? And most of the time, if you allow it to, it does. Again, look for the choice points. Because you can say, and I'm working because I've got a job, because it's good money and they pay me and it helps me to raise my family, and life's pretty good. Holy cow, life's a miracle every minute. That too is a choice point. Depends on what you're willing to settle for. How much do you want out of life? How much do you want out of life? Who said, are you doing what you came here to do? Selena, wherever you are. Thank you for that. That was a beautiful quote. Are you doing what you came here to do? If not, why not? Because doing that makes you stronger. It does. And it makes you happier. And it makes life so sweet and work so wonderful. So, to finish things up, because we got to finish things up, because they're going to come chase me out here pretty soon. What do you think is the good life? What is your best life? Because you have to start by knowing what it is you want before you can have it, of course. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, and we're going to do a little visioning as our inspirational thing, as our prayer out. I want to ask you, what is the good life? Are you doing what you came here to do? And if not, why not? Your homework for the week, because tomorrow's Labor Day, and because you should be thinking about these things because I told you to. No, because it makes your life more gentle and more better all the way along. So, what's next for you? What is your next adventure from where you are right now? How can you make life happier? How can you find more joy? How you can fulfill that which you are here to do? That's your homework. So let's pray a minute. I'm going to ask you some questions and leave you a little time to think about the answer. This is your life. You can live it however you want. Victimhood feels very sweet sometimes. And good enough is good enough. And life can be an adventure. So I invite you to go inside. Take a deep breath. And ask yourself, what is the good life for me? What does it look like? How does it feel? Go inside and ask that question of your inner wisdom self. What is my good life? Once you've got an idea, a feeling about that, take a deep breath. And ask yourself this question. In order to live this beautiful life, what do I have to give up? What do I have to release? Are there things that I'm doing that don't serve this good life? And how will it feel to let them go? take a breath and watch them fly away. Those things that no longer serve you. Let them go. And now there's a little empty place to fill. And you fill it with these words, what must I become? What can I bring into my life to fill that hole? And accept whatever comes into your mind. I can do that. I already am that. I've served that part of me now. It feels so good. The third question, what must I become? Who must I become? Feel that energy, that power, that personal spiritual power come into your soul, come into your body. That's joy. It creates laughter and love. This is wonder. It is the wonder of all life. And knowing that the words that we speak, the thoughts that we think, that laughter is its own medicine. We know that life is good and so good. And so we breathe. As we come back into this space, into this room, we bring with us this new knowing. And the work is done. And we nail it down together by saying together, and so it is. Thank you.
Oh, we are so blessed. Reverend Myrna, that was just the most perfect talk for this month, for this Labor Day weekend, reminding us all of the truth of that we all have a divine purpose that we're here to enjoy and bring to the world. And part of our divine purpose is this wonderful spiritual practice that we share together each week, where we remind ourselves of the bounty that exists for us in this universe and how it comes to us in order to flow through us out into the world, including to our spiritual center, where we continue to be reminded of the truth of who we are, and where we get to have this awesome community of people with which to have that reminder. So I invite you all to, in the spirit of giving, bring your gift into your mind, into your hands, into your heart, and let us say together our offering affirmation. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Filled with gratitude, I let this be, and so it is. Let's hear it again for Rich Smith.
Oh, that's right. I have to play again, don't I? Yep. So work. We're back to work, right? And to my mind, part of work is moving away from the labor into the preparation of work. So for the most part, most of my job required me to travel a lot down to New York City. And if you've never been to New York City, I highly recommend it. It is a wonderful place to visit. I never wanted to live there. It literally is the city that never sleeps. And so I would wind up a lot of times when I was working. I would go down on Friday night, and I would be there Saturday and Sunday, and then Sunday night I would take the train and go back up home. Well, home for me was this beautiful place in southern Vermont called Westminster. And it was absolutely stunning. We had the trees. I was literally 1.2 miles from the Connecticut River, which divides New Hampshire and Vermont. And there was this little brook that ran in front of my house, so whether it was 40 degrees below zero in the middle of the winter, or I hate to say this, but the morning I left Vermont to drive back, it was a brisk 69 degrees, and that was on July 4th. And I come back, and then, and 3 days later I'm in Salt Lake City, and it's like, okay, now I know what hell feels like. I wasn't quite ready for the temperatures, but there was this beautiful little brook that flowed through in front of my house, and the trees, and of course my bear who lived up the hill behind me. But there was this place that I would go, and it was about an hour, maybe an hour and a half away from me over in New Hampshire. And if you've ever seen the movie What About Bob, it's Lake Winnipesaukee. And just north of Lake Winnipesaukee is this beautiful little place called Crawford Pond. And back in the 80s, Henry Fonda filmed his last movie there, and we've come to know it as On Golden Pond. And so they renamed the pond Golden Pond. And while I couldn't live on the pond because I didn't have the bank account to buy a $1.8 million mansion. I tried. I really tried. And no, they weren't willing to take what I had to offer. So they have these walking trails where you can walk around, and there's a series of lakes that they all interconnect, and they're really, to us, they would be ponds. But they call them the lakes, and they interconnect, and you can boat on them and swim, and it is the most beautiful place to just go and let everything just go, and just enjoy this beautiful place. So since part of my work in my past life was working for, I worked for Walt Disney Pictures and I worked for Warner Brothers for several years, I thought it's only fair to tie my work back in by playing a song that I heard originally years before I even started working for the picture company that had a great impact on my life, and that was to take you one more time back to my beloved New England and share with you a trip around Golden Pond.
That was beautiful. I want to go to New England.
October. October's the time to go.
Right, it leaves. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Myrna, thank you for your message. That was just, I think, my favorite so far. And I hope you all have a great week. Let's stand and sing together our... Bring the children in. Who do we got? Hi, guys. Come on down. Can you play a little ditty?
A little ditty. What kind of a ditty?
Anything to them coming. There we go. Drum will work. There we go. Hi, guys. We're so glad you're here.
Give me a beat, I'll follow it.
And they've arrived. Thanks so much for coming. Are you going to dance with us? We got a dance song coming up. Ready? Okay. Here we go.
fall, yeah. Come on now, people, let's get on the ball and work together. Come on, let's work together. Now, people, because together we stand. Every boy, girl, woman, every man. Before things go wrong, yes, they sometimes will. The road that we travel seems all uphill. Let's work together. Come on, let's work together. Now, people, because together we stand. Every boy, girl, woman, every man. Well, now, 2 or 3 minutes, 2 or 3 hours, what does it matter if this life of ours? Let's work together. Come on, let's work together. Now, people, because together we stand. Every boy, every woman, every man. Woo! Come on, Rory! Make someone happy, make someone smile. Let's all work together and make life worthwhile. Let's work together. Come on, let's work together. Now, people, because together we stand. Every boy, girl, woman, every man. Now, come on, all you people, walk hand in hand. Let's make this world a good place to stand. Let's work together. Come on, let's work together. Now, people, because together we